And to Newswatch, well, I said earlier that supporters of The Voice were getting desperate and talking about clutching at straws and then pretending they're haystacks. The ABC's AM program today had great news for the Yes campaign. Great news. They'd found a town in a very safe Liberal seat in country Victoria that was full of yes signs.
In Port Fairy, in Victoria's southwest, yes vote call flutes outweigh opposition posters by around 50 to 1, even though the village is in the heart of one of the opposition's safest electorates.
Wow. What AM didn't tell you in that whole report was that Port Fairy itself, and I checked, far from being staunch Liberal heartland and look at all these yes signs, is in fact filled with sea changers, retirees from the city, many of them Teals and Greens, which is why the last election showed that Labor and the Liberals were actually at near dead heat. And you add then all the free yes signs that the corporate-funded Yes campaign can afford to send around in their thousands, and add the fear that no supporters have of yes people getting in their face, absolutely no wonder. In fact, the only person in Port Fairy apparently with a no sign didn't dare talk to the ABC tells you everything. Joining me is Sophie Elsworth, media writer for the Australian newspaper. Sophie, it's great to see you. Look, the ABC does a story about the signs in one town in the state and it's the state with the strongest yes support in the country just about. And suddenly it's rainbow time for the Yes campaign. What an odd story that was, Sophie.
Andrew, I suspect you will see more of these stories arriving on the ABC's website and news services in the week and a half that we have to go to the referendum. Yes, it is a bit of an odd story, but I mean, you only have to drive around anywhere in Victoria and there's yes posters everywhere and you won't find a no poster. I certainly haven't seen anywhere I live in Bayside, Melbourne. And so I'm a bit surprised that the ABC would think this is some kind of revolution, that there's lots more yes posters than no posters. But Andrew, can I just remind viewers, I wrote a story back in February that the ABC staff had to have training about impartiality when it comes to The Voice. So I'm just wondering if maybe they need to revisit that training.
Yes, well, in the town that I live in, same story. Yes signs, no signs. Melbourne's ABC morning show, there's another example today, Sophie, had two people, right, from the yes side of the argument and the no side of the argument come talk about the contest. So you think, oh, right, this is a balanced debate. One was Senator Lydia Thorpe, the race baiter, who says treaty before Voice, so she was the no. And the other was Kirsty Parker, Uluru Dialogue strategic advisor, saying vote yes. So does that really sound like a balanced debate to you, Sophie? A balanced presentation of both sides?
To be honest, Andrew, not really, but you're seeing this across the ABC. I mean, let's have a look at Q&A last night, dominated by yes votes, yes supporters. The drum each night, often you've got someone sitting on the panel with their yes shirt. It's dominated by yes voices. They're just flooding through the ABC. I wonder why no voices would even bother sometimes with the ABC. You go on a show like Q&A and you just get mocked, as we saw with Dan Tehan last night on the Q&A program. He got ridiculed. The Q&A Facebook page put up one clip, should I say, from that show last night, and it was making Dan Tehan look quite silly, to be quite frank, Andrew. So we are going to see more and more of this in the run down to October 14. Things are getting desperate in the Yes camp, I suspect, and they're doing whatever they can to try and get across the line. But, Andrew, I just don't think it's going to get there for them.
No, and you're right to point out that Facebook page. They put up the one clip, apart from the whole show, the one clip that try to make Dan Tehan, the Liberal frontbencher, look silly. They didn't put up the other clip that made Noel Pearson look silly, which I thought was much more interesting. Sophie Elsworth, thank you so much indeed for your time. Really appreciate it.